The former UDA Secretary General Cleo Malala is a man under siege. In fact, he is counting losses as a result of miscalculations, missteps in political moves. Malala was a man who endeared himself to the residents of Kakamega. He was a one-term MCA, then he got an opportunity, became a senator, from an MCA to a senator. It seems he was so much ambitious that he decided to endear himself to William Ruto. When William Ruto was crafting his shadow government, and he used Cleopas Malala together with people like Johnson Sakaja to lure Mudavadi to come back to Kenya Kwanza. After that, William Ruto saw his ambition and he crafted a plan to finish Cleopas Malala. While both Malala and Alwale wanted to contest for a gubernatorial position in Kakamega, a hotbed of ODM, William Ruto prevailed upon Alwale to go for the senatorial position, knowing very well that Malala was not going to get that position because it was a stronghold of ODM, and Malala lost that seat. Then William Ruto appointed Cleopas Malala the UDA Secretary General, knowing very well that that seat was very hot. I don't know what happened. One thing led to the other, and Malala started aligning himself to Rigathi Gachagua. Now, Rigathi Gachagua fell out with William Ruto, and Malala was removed from that seat very forcefully, ejected. Subsequently, Rigathi Gachagua was also ousted. So, Malala has lost everything politically. Of course, there are rumors that when they were starting, William Ruto gave him a lot of money. William Ruto built for him a house. I don't know how true that is. Now, it seems Malala is making moves and he's gotten a fallback plan. He's going back to Kakamega and he wants to try his hands in the very seat that he lost. This time round, it is not going to be under UDA. Please listen to Cleopas Malala.
Huyo gavana asaidie vijana wapate ajira. Asaidie wamama wapate ajira. Mambo ya kukuja hapa kila siku, nasikia wewe unatoka kwa ofisi saa 10, unaendesha gari, unaingia kwa nyumba kabla kuku ingie. Ati hautaki kwenda kukata kwa mkahawa na watu wako, hautaki kujulia watu wako hali. How will you interact with your people kama umekaa kwa gari tu kila saa na unashuka kwa boma yako? Boma yako umeweka askari. Sasa utasaidia aje watu wako? Mimi naomba tafadhali. Mimi naomba gavana wa Kakamega, fanyia watu wako kazi. Leta maendeleo. Nataka tuone barabara zikiundwa. Nataka kuona hospitali zikiwa na madawa. Mimi nimekupatia nafasi. Sikusumbui, na kupatia nafasi ufanye kazi yako, kwa sababu nikikusumbua watu wangu ndio wataumia. Lakini gavana, ukiendelea hivi, mimi nasikia ati kabla gavana aseme kitu, alete maendeleo ama aandike mtu kazi, ati mpaka aulize bibi kwanza. Baba gavana ni nani? Sijui mlipigia gavana Baraza kura ama mlipigia bibi yake kura? Mimi naomba gavana tafadhali, kama utashindwa hiyo kazi, tutasimamisha huyo bibi yako akuwe gavana. Sasa tunasema bibi ya Italanyi ndio gavana, si ndio? Lakini tafadhali gavana, open your doors. Fungulia watu mlango wafanye kazi yao. So mimi nasema ukiendelea hivyo, na nilitangaza, sababu unajua 2022 mimi sikuanguka kwa haki. Nilikuwa nimekubali, lakini nikaangalia kumbe watu walienda mahali pengine ndio wakashinda kura. Mimi nimesema kwa sababu nimeongea na Mungu wangu tena, 2027 bado mimi niko kwa debe kutafuta kiti cha ugavana. Bado niko. Sasa wewe jipange. Wewe utakuwa unaenda huko, mimi naenda kwa Father kuomba. Wewe unaenda huko, mimi naenda kwa mkambi. Na niko na uhakika vile na unajua hata nikwambie, mliona vile nilisukumana na hao majamaa. 2027 nimejipanga. Na msidhanie ati nafanya mzaa huko penye niko. Mimi ninajipanga vipropa. Na nitagonga mlango kwa mlango. Nitatembea kila mahali kukomboa watu wetu wa Kakamega County. Wangapi wananiunga mkono nipande kura cha ugavana hapa? Mnaunga mkono? Hebu nione kwa mikono ya hewa tafadhali. Mimi tasimama hiyo kiti. So wale watu wanasema hapa ati mimi ningoje 2032 sijui nikiwe kiongozi ya Mulembe. Mulembe ndio kaunti gani wewe? Wewe unadanganya mimi bwana. Mimi nasimama kiti cha ugavana mwaka wa 2027 kaunti ya Kakamega. Wewe ambia Italania aende kwa Mulembe. Achana na mimi bwana. And do not advise your opponent.
That move is very critical because it is going to make the Kakamega gubernatorial race in 2027 a very serious one. Already there is Fernandez Baraza, who is the current governor under ODM, and I understand that is not in good terms with the ODM fraternity. We have Boniface Halwale, who has said that he will never give Malala a chance again. And Halwale wants to endear himself even to the ODM brigade. There are indications that he could even come back to the ODM. There is a merger, a serious merger between Raila and Ruto before 2027. And so this is going to, make it even more difficult because now Fernandez, Baraza, Boniface Halwale, and Cleopas Malala. The question that many experts are asking is this. Just like Rigathi Gachagua, William Ruto made Cleopas Malala an enemy of the people. You remember that book, An Enemy of the People? William Ruto decided to charge Rigathi Gachagua against Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga, and now Ruto. So he was fighting against three big politicians with some big following. Cleopas Malala was charged to disrespect his bosses. He wanted to force the Amani National Congress leader, Musalia Mudavadi, to fold his party to come to UDA. And Mudavadi did not like the approach that Malala had taken. Malala is a young man, and he felt that he was being disrespected. As a result, Mudavadi does not have a really soft spot for him. Maybe if he decides to forgive him. And he ditched ANC and went to UDA. That is betrayal. Of course, now I understand that Mudavadi could as well come back to UDA. He did that with Moses Wetangula, and Wetangula was not pleased because Malala was forcing things. Just because he had been forced to become the UDA Secretary General, he was full of himself. And so he might not vie with ANC. Mudavadi would prefer someone else. He might not vie with Ford Kenya. They will prefer someone else. I don't know whether they can go to DAP. It's still not known whether they can go independent. And that is a question that many people are asking. If he decides to chart his own path, which party is he going to contest with? For those who come from Kakamega County, what are the chances of Cleopas Malala getting this? Because when you are campaigning, there must be that support base in terms of money, in terms of who is behind you. Will it be Raila, Mudavadi, or William Samoei Ruto? Because usually the gubernatorial seat is not very easy. Now that move seems to be one like the prodigal son who left, the fathers, went and strayed, then he went back. Now Cleopas Malala's move is a fallback plan, is like a prodigal son who left his home and went to stray in some far land. Then when things were so difficult for him, after he had faced many predicaments, he went back. I don't know whether Malala will be accepted like the prodigal son was accepted. Because as at the time he left, the UDA became very unpopular in their area. because UDA, people can't resonate well with UDA policies. So when he goes back, he's going to face an opposition. The only saving grace could be that William Ruto and ODM, that was the dominant party there, are almost working together. But if Raila does not want him, Mudavadi does not want him, William Ruto does not want him, do you think he stands a chance? Some people see him as a dethroned king from that very prestigious seat, the UDA Secretary General, where he used to wield a lot of powers. And many people are saying that Malala, when he started associating with Rigathi Gachagua, when he started warning people like Sudi, he did not realize that he was just an invited guest. And this is something that many people are told. These political parties belong to particular people, and there are people who control them. When you come from Kakamega and you have been given that seat, you have been appointed, you have not been elected, and then because of the powers that you wield, you start warning wenyeji, you want people like Oscar Sudi, then you know you are on your way out. And this is something that Cleopas Malala did not see. And the reason I'm saying that he's suffering because of miscalculation is when he started, he was very close to Raila. Had he stuck with him, things would have been different. The other miscalculation that he did, because as a senator, he would have maintained the senatorial seat. He would have allowed Boniface Aluale to go for the gubernatorial seat. That is another mistake. If you look people like Malala and even Hassan Omar in Mombasa, had Hassan Omar stick to the senatorial race, he would have been somewhere. I'm sure Hassan Omar would have been the governor today because they would have worked closely with Joho, and with that kind of rapport, people would have elected him. So that is another mistake that Cleopas Malala did. Then allowing himself to be elected, the UDA, not elected but appointed a UDA Secretary General, and then he starts messing up with the close allies of William Ruto. He had to go. So he's suffering because of the miscalculations that many people do. I don't know whether he can recover, but the Kakamega gubernatorial race is going to be a very hot race, just like in many other counties. Like in Kisii, Osoro is preparing to battle it out with Simbarati. I don't know who will carry the day. Even in Mombasa, I know Hassan Sarai is going to battle it out with the current governor. Aluale is said to be preparing well. As for Fernandez, I don't know what is going to happen. Cleopas Malala has found a fallback plan after being betrayed. Betrayal is indeed part of our politics.